guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Audi RSQ3 Sportback, an RS car from Audi that's like basically a mini SUV but an RS product that's an Audi A3 on steroids but also cut down. Basically it's everything that the market wants and needs at the moment, because people want cars off the ground but you still want something fast, you still want something branded properly as well. But is it a real RS car? Is it a proper thoroughbred RS car, this? Coming from an 8P RS owner many years ago, well, about 2-3 years ago now, we had an Audi RS3 8P, and yeah, we put in exhaust wheels, we did loads of stuff to that car, but I absolutely love that car. But can this car make me fall in love with the RS products that are coming out these days? Because is it a proper RS car? Let's find out. But as ever, guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But onwards to the B roads. So, 2021 Audi RSQ3, a 400 brake horsepower, 480 newton meters foot pound, 5-pot. So they've kept the 5-pot, thank God. My biggest worry sometimes when I see an RS branded car, not I really delve into the new market sometimes unless I see something like this and I think, oh hello, is that are they putting the right engines in these cars? And yes, this has got the 5-pot in it, as you guys probably already know by clicking on this video. So it has the 2.5 litre derived from the RS3, but has 400 horsepower in this. It's a hell of a lot of power considering it's big-ish, this car, but it's not massive. It's not huge in comparison to some of the SUV thingies that are coming out these days. We're gonna get into it though. What's it like to drive? You might have all the lovely bits and bobs inside, you know, your virtual cockpit, you've got really nice screens, Alcantara, carbon fibre, lovely seats, but what's it actually like to drive this thing? Because is it a proper RS car? So I'm going to take it from comfort mode, which I must admit is a fantastic mode to be in on a daily basis. It is actually very comfortable in here. Sometimes I do think that automakers these days especially making cars a little bit too stiff. Recently driven a few relatively new hot hatches and thought, bloody hell, these are stiff. Thankfully this isn't actually stiff whatsoever in comfort mode, which is a shout. So I'm going to prove myself wrong all right by putting it into dynamic mode there. So that brings up the revs, it makes it a little bit more exciting. But also, we're going to actually put this in the factory RS mode. You've got RS1 and RS2 on the steering wheel, which is the RS mode button. We are going to go from RS1 to RS2. And that is, again, a factory set. As you can hear, the exhaust flap has actually come alive, which is fantastic. And you now have a power and torque percentage on your right-hand side of the virtual cockpit. And you do have a G meter as well, because, of course, when you're taking the kids to school in one of these, you want to see what G's you're doing. So let's see what this is actually like. Does it hustle through the B roads of the UK properly? And is it right to wear that RS branding? It of course has exhaust tips out the back, which is a derived RS thing. To be honest, and I will say that now, the RS3 8P didn't have like an oval exhaust, so I get that. I know that was one of those things, maybe they should have done it back then, but this is wearing it. So already I think styling wise, yes, you are up there with what an RS car should look like. The drive though, because it is of course higher up, you've got, yes, good power, but sometimes power doesn't make cars fast in the sense of wayward weight up, up high, especially in one of these slightly larger cars they're building these days. We are currently sat behind a VW T-Cross. I think this is a T-Cross in front of us, and he's taking his leisurely time probably through one of the nicest roads, which is a bit of a shame. Also, talking about things on the interior, pan roof this one has, and this is a four-sprung edition, so that's something to point out. This is pretty much one of the highest spec RS3s I could actually get my hands on. There's not too many options. You could actually put on this more than the one I'm driving today, which is good. This is the highly optioned car. About 63 grand these come out at, but you know, they're kicking at around mid-50s now, which again, if you're the PCP, isn't too bad. From the ownership point of view though, what's it like to actually sit in? You've got quite a lot of space actually. Alcantara here as well, which is nice on your elbows. Mirrors are in a really nice position as we change down again. Really nice position. You can actually see right down the vehicle, which is really nice. And although you've got that cut down roof, you can actually sort of still see what's out the back. But if you are reversing, you of course got, well, this one's got 360 cameras and a reversing camera, which is a shout. You need that when you're on the school run. But if you are into cars and you like your cars and you've had hot hatches in the past and you want to go into something that's more, not SUV like, but can go over speed bumps a little bit easier, I'm finding that a huge problem with some of the cars I drive these days is if I was to take it on the school run and go over 3 or 4 speed bumps a day, would I actually enjoy it as much as I do? This one, actually coming out of the housing estate that I got it from, did actually conquer a few potholes and a few raised ironworks because they were building there, and the speed bumps that were down the road. So that's another thing to point out, is that if you are actually a bit conscious about going over stuff all the time, a vehicle like this does make a lot of sense. So what is that 400 horsepower like? As we slow ourselves down a little bit, we'll grab second gear, shall we? Yeah, I mean, it's like pretty much any other RS branded car with a 2.5 litre. Your boost and your power comes on at about 2,000 RPM, but it is linear the whole way through. So you are actually completely in the same sort of power feel, especially inside as a driver. Feels the same the whole way through the rev, which is quite nice. It doesn't actually tail off all the way out to about 7,000 RPM. It doesn't actually tail off, which is a really nice thing. Sometimes you get in some newer cars and they tail off at the end, or you don't really necessarily feel the kick. In this, you feel the kick at about 2,000 RPM, which is really nice. So we'll go for a third gear pull. Oh, kick down into second. Interesting, we're actually in manual mode and it's still kicked down. I was actually expecting a third gear pull then, but it still thought that second gear was the right one to be in. That's fine. The car knows. I don't know. The car knows more than me. It's quite nice actually, because even though you're in the RS mode, you still can have your sat-nav up in front of you. If you're B-road bashing somewhere you don't know and you need your sat-nav, you can still have your power and percentage and your RS2 mode in front of you, but you still have this really, really nice, I mean, some of the screens are coming out with these days are so high def in front of me. So we will do another second gear up into third. Definitely gets going. That Quattro system, which of course this has, is still very, very apparent in this slightly larger car, which is quite nice. It does sound like a proper RS car, which is nice. Sometimes you get in some of these new cars and it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound the way it should from previous generations, but still sounds like a proper RS car. And in fact, if the camera wasn't on, which is going to be in a minute, I'm going to actually take this roof back and you'll properly be able to hear all of that 2.5 5-pot roaring through the B roads of the Isle of Wight. A few things to talk about on the ownership side of this vehicle, because of course if you're watching this, you want to buy one, a few things you might want to know. First things first, space is actually alright. It's not too compromised considering it's cut down the back. The boot is here and there. It's actually relatively deep. As we come up to a little lay-by, I'm going to let this Mini come through. Size-wise, this pulled up, this Mini can get through absolutely fine. Actually, stop-start came in because we've put it in comfort mode. Comfort mode is actually comfortable, which is nice. You put comfort mode on in, say, my M4, it's not very nice. It's still choppy. This is actually, considering wheels, tyres, how big it is comfortable. The seats are comfortable and actually supportive through corners, and I don't think they're too buckety that they won't be comfortable on a long journey. Size-wise, again, my seat is in a good position. I drive relatively far back, but I could very easily get a little kid seat behind me, very easy. and it's actually, again, comfortable in the back, which is nice. Sometimes automakers don't make back seats very comfortable, but as you can see, there is actually a child seat in here already, and there is enough legroom for child or a fully grown adult. And the onboard computer is telling us today that we've been doing, well, consumption at the moment is 17.3. Again, we've done mixed, you know, driving through town and a bit of B-road bashing, so, you know, not too bad. So our short-term memory on the car is we've been averaging 20 mile an hour, 17.2 mpg, and driving for about 45 minutes on 15 miles. And the long term, so this is the actual owner of the car, he's getting 20.6, and been driving quite a lot, of course, over 2,000 miles, and is averaging about 19 miles per hour. So take that into consideration when you are buying one of these. Again, you will only see 20s, you know, maybe low 20s on a run. Yes, you'll probably get more, but we're Isle of Wight based, so you'll probably get a bit of a different understanding of the ownership side, especially petrol costs, because of course petrol is expensive at the moment. It is about, just, I would say 17 to 22 mpg is about what you'll get on a daily basis. And price, 50 grand, about 55 for one from a dealership. They haven't depreciated too much yet, but again, this is a relatively new car. This one's got 7,000 miles on it. It's not even running in my books, but I would love to see a modified one of these. From the ownership side, I'd love to see a hybrid turbo, pops and bangs maybe, or a gearbox map, something like that on one of these, and I'd love to drive it after, see what it's about. So, as an RS fan, as an Audi RS fan, do I think this is a proper RS car? Yes, I do. It has the qualities of the RS3, in my opinion, but the practicality of something a little bit larger. To be honest, I can't feel the weight too much on the road. I would really have to be chucking it around to feel any real difference in size. I feel the size in a sense of going down the road and sort of, yes, curving round and that, but not as much as I was expecting, because of that quattro system, because of the 2.5 litre 5-pot still doing a really good job of just being an RS car. This is a proper RS car in my opinion. In fact, you could easily daily drive this, of course, but I still think that, yeah, this is a proper RS car. I'm going to give it the seal of, the Jamie FYD seal approval of being a proper RS car. So guys, with that, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you've got a car that you want me to shoot for the channel, please let me know. Shoot me a message on Instagram, Jamie FYD, or on Facebook, Jamie FYD. Follow me on TikTok as well, I'm on there, Jamie FYD. But thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you all in the next one.